I just had a weird teacher moment. Usually when I am in class and I tell you to solve it yourself, I'll then give you a minute to solve it. Out of habit, I just waited a minute with the record off, just like chilling. His weird lizard brain kind of stuff. All right. So Marshall made 45.5 cars. Let's solve it together. How many songs did he make? Okay. So basically, I'm going to divide 45.5 by 7. 6.5. Okay. Why did I do that? So he makes 7 songs per day. Times X days will give you 45.5 cars, and this should say cars. So he made at a rate of 7 cars per day, which is given in the problem. He makes 7 cars a day, right? And at a rate of 7 cars per day, and he spends X days on it, I need to know how many days is he spending building cars. So 7 times 6.5, or 7 times 6.5, times, yikes, 7 times 6.5 is 45.5. Alternatively, you could have just divided 45.5 by 7. Okay, so he's spending 6.5 days making cars. Okay, what does that say? How many days does he have total to make cars or songs? He has 7, so 7 days total, of which 6.5 are making cars. What does that leave? Well, 7 minus 6.5 days to make cars, or to make songs. 0.5 days to make songs. Apologies if this math is very simple to you. I'm trying to be as explanatory as possible because maybe not everybody's on the same page, and I'm not in the room to see who's following and who is not. So I'm trying to be as explanatory as possible. Okay, so again, he's got 45.5. He made 45.5 cars. It took him 6.5 days to do that. It gives him 0.5 days left to make songs. So the final step is, how many songs does he make per day? 1 song per day. And he's got 0.5 days, so he can make 0.5 songs. Okay. So all this is to say, if I give you that Marshall made 45.5 cars, you know that he made 0.5 songs. Okay. So this last bit, now that we've solved that, we can add it to these tables here. So I can add 45.5 and 0.5. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete the text here. The reason I'm doing that is so that it doesn't read as text, so that Excel reads it as a number. 7, 6, 5. And then what we're going to have here, I'm going to do this and I'm going to graph it. So I want to graph what's called the production possibilities frontier. And charts, we want a line. Oh, sorry, I picked scatter. So this is exactly what I want right here. And then I'm going to maximize it. So songs should actually be on the y-axis. So let's delete let's actually change this. I'm going to change the title to Production Possibilities Frontier. Okay. And then I'm going to add titles. So this is the number of cars made in a week. number of cars made per, in the week. Okay. And then I'm going to add another axis title, primary vertical. This will be number of songs made in the week. Okay. And then the last step is I'm going to just draw a line over them. Okay. Kind of want to make it a little thicker because this is the important part. Maybe not that thick. Okay. I'm going to change the color as well. All right, so this orange line is what we call the production possibilities frontier. The blue points here, they're helpful for getting it, but they're not necessarily the production possibilities frontier. They're points on the production possibilities frontier. So essentially what this orange line tells you is the maximum number of cars and songs you can make in a particular combination, okay? Or not that you can make, but that Marshall can make. So at any point on this orange line, you have some combination of songs and cars that Marshall can make. Okay, so you might have 6.5 songs and 3.5 cars. Or you might have 5 songs and 14 cars. Or you might have 3.1265 cars and the corresponding number of songs. Okay, but at all points, this is the number of cars and songs that you will make if you use all of your time. Okay, that's what it means to be on the frontier. The most efficient use of your time to make cars and songs. Okay, so this orange line is the actual production possibilities frontier. These blue dots are points on the production possibilities frontier, but there are many other points that we didn't necessarily graph. Okay, now I'm going to stop and take a second because what I just did was also explanatory. When you're building a production possibilities frontier, you don't necessarily need to know all the points on it. You don't need to do it in Excel. You don't need all the pomp and circumstance. All you really need to do is have a graph with 2 axes and a line, and then I do want, and I not just want, it is mandatory for you to label the axes, cars and songs, okay? So if you follow what I have in the lecture slides, okay, like cars, songs, and a line, you're fine, and I do want intercepts too. That is actually important. So if you follow what's in the lecture slides, you're fine. Excel is one way to do it if you want to do it on Excel. It is kind of a time-consuming way to do it. You could just draw it by hand or using the drawing toolbar. That's fine too, and that's probably what I'll be doing going forward. But for the sake of showing the whole steps, I wanted to use Excel. Okay. So let's go back to the actual lecture. So in this case, I did not, in what I just drew, cars on the x-axis because that's the way that Excel spit it out. For the rest of the lecture, though, I'm going to use songs on the x-axis. And the reason for that is arbitrary. With production possibilities frontier, doesn't matter what your x is, doesn't matter what your y is, as long as you have them labeled. Okay. And in the class, when I give you homework, it'll specify for my sake, not for the sake of economics, it'll specify which I want you to have on the X and the Y, and that's just so that everything's uniform when I go to grade it, so that I don't have to figure out, oh, is this point supposed to be here, is this point supposed to be here? Okay.